After 12 years and over $750 million in crowdfunding, Cloud Imperium Games just dropped a bombshell that nobody saw coming. Squadron 42, the single-player campaign that was supposed to launch back in 2014, is now fully playable from start to finish. We're talking about a complete 40-plus hour space epic with Hollywood actors, branching storylines, and gameplay that spans the entire game. But here's the twist that's got the community divided. The studio also admitted they might not hit their 2026 release date. Before we dive into what this actually means for one of gaming's most controversial projects, hit that subscribe button for Pulse Gaming. We cover the biggest stories in gaming news, and your support through our affiliate links in the description helps us keep bringing you this content. Now let's break down what's really happening with Squadron 42. So what does fully playable actually mean? According to Cloud Imperium's global community manager, Jared Huckabee, every mission in Squadron 42 can now be played from beginning to end. That includes the main storyline, side missions, and all the different gameplay systems working together. This is a massive milestone for a project that's been stuck in development hell longer than most games take to go from concept to release. The campaign clocks in at over 40 hours, which puts it in the same league as major RPGs like The Witcher 3 or Cyberpunk 2077. You're getting a full military career in space, complete with capital ship battles, first-person shooter sections, and the kind of immersive sim gameplay that Star Citizen has been promising since 2012. The scope here is genuinely ambitious. We're not talking about a short tech demo or a proof of concept anymore, but playable doesn't mean finished. Huckabee was careful to clarify that fully playable is different from ready to ship. The team is now in what they're calling the polish phase, which means fixing bugs, balancing difficulty, improving performance, and making sure everything actually works the way it's supposed to. This is normal for game development, but with Squadron 42's history, nothing about this project feels normal. The cast list reads like a Hollywood blockbuster. Gary Oldman, Mark Hamill, Gillian Anderson, Mark Strong, Ben Mendelsohn, and Liam Cunningham all recorded motion capture performances for this game. That level of talent doesn't come cheap, and it's part of why the budget has ballooned to $750 million. The production values are supposed to rival major films, with performances captured using high-end motion capture technology. Here's where things get complicated. In the same announcement where they revealed the game is playable, Huckabee also threw cold water on the 2026 release date. When asked directly if Squadron 42 would make its target, he said he doesn't know if they're going to make it. That's a pretty stunning admission for a game that's supposed to launch next year. The community reaction has been exactly what you'd expect. Veterans of the Star Citizen saga responded with a collective sigh and forehead rub. This is a project that was originally announced for a 2014 release, then pushed to 2016, then had its roadmap removed entirely for years. The current 2026 target date was only confirmed recently, and now that's already in question before we even hit the halfway point. Let's put this timeline in perspective. When Squadron 42 was first announced, the PlayStation 4 hadn't even launched yet. Grand Theft Auto 5 was brand new. The entire gaming landscape has transformed multiple times since this project began. Games like Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, and Baldur's Gate 3 were all conceived, developed, and released to critical acclaim while Squadron 42 remained in development. The funding situation is equally mind-blowing. Star Citizen and Squadron 42 have raised over $750 million through crowdfunding, making it the most expensive game development project in history by a significant margin. For comparison, Grand Theft Auto 5 cost around $265 million to develop and market. Red Dead Redemption 2 reportedly cost between $370 and $540 million, according to analyst estimates. Squadron 42 has now exceeded both, while still not having a confirmed release date. Cloud Imperium Games argues that they're building something unprecedented. The persistent universe of Star Citizen and the cinematic campaign of Squadron 42 are supposed to work together, using the same engine and assets. They're creating technology and tools that don't exist anywhere else in the industry. The level of detail in their spaceships alone is reportedly higher than most entire games. But that ambition comes with real costs. The studio now employs over 1,100 people across multiple international offices. They're burning through funding at a rate that would sink most game studios, and they're entirely dependent on continued crowdfunding to keep the lights on. Unlike traditional publishers who can cut their losses, Cloud Imperium is locked into delivering on over a decade of promises. The technical challenges are legitimately impressive. Squadron 42 needs to seamlessly blend space combat, first-person shooting, ship interiors with full physics, massive capital ship battles, and performance capture cutscenes, all in a single game world. Most studios would break these into separate games or heavily segment the gameplay. Cloud Imperium is trying to do it all at once with minimal loading screens. Performance is a major concern. Even the playable build reportedly struggles to maintain stable frame rates on high-end hardware. The game's requirements are expected to be absolutely brutal when it finally launches. We're talking cutting-edge PCs just to run it at acceptable settings. That's going to limit the potential audience significantly unless they can optimize it dramatically during this polish phase. The question everyone's asking is whether Squadron 42 can live up to the hype after all this time. Expectations are impossibly high at this point. People have been waiting over a decade and contributing hundreds of millions of dollars. The game needs to be more than just good. It needs to justify its entire troubled existence. That's a lot of pressure for any development team. Huckabee mentioned that the team is committed to not releasing the game until it meets their quality bar. That sounds good in theory, but with Squadron 42's track record, it also reads as code for "we have no idea when this is actually coming out." The lack of a concrete timeline after 12 years is concerning for anyone who's been following this project. Some industry analysts think Squadron 42 might actually pull it off. The technology is there, the talent is there, and after 12 years, they've surely learned something about making games. If they can nail the landing, it could be a genuine masterpiece that justifies the wait. But that's a big if, and the gaming industry is littered with overly ambitious projects that collapsed under their own weight. The real test will be whether regular gamers, not just hardcore Star Citizen backers, actually want to play Squadron 42 when it finally releases. The space sim genre isn't exactly mainstream anymore. Most of the people who backed this project in 2012 have moved on with their lives. Will there still be an audience for a 40-hour military space epic in 2026 or 2027? Or whenever it actually comes out? What's clear is that Squadron 42 is now in uncharted territory. No game has ever taken this long or cost this much while remaining entirely crowdfunded. It's simultaneously one of the most ambitious projects in gaming history and a cautionary tale about scope creep and feature bloat. The fact that it's finally playable is genuinely newsworthy after all these years. So where does this leave us? Squadron 42 is real, it's playable, and it's supposedly 40+ hours long. But it might not come out in 2026, and even if it does, there's no guarantee it will justify 12 years and $750 million of development. The next year or two will determine whether this becomes one of gaming's greatest comebacks or its most spectacular failure. What do you think? Will Squadron 42 actually release and live up to the hype, or is this just another chapter in Star Citizen's never-ending story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you found this breakdown valuable, smash that like button and subscribe to Pulse Gaming for more gaming news and analysis. We've got more stories coming your way, so stick around.